Wang Yun prepares the chaining scheme. Dongzhuo rages at Phoenix Pavilion. Kuai urged Liu Biao to seize this moment. With Sun Jian dead, his sons were still young. Now was the time to conquer the Southland before it grew strong.
Strike now, my lord. One beat of the war drum, and the Southland will be yours.
But Liu Biao's heart was heavy. To abandon Huangzu was to betray friendship. And so, torn between gain and loyalty, he chose the path of honor over ambition. With heavy hearts, Sun Si brought his father's body back home. Though young, his spirit was resolute. The son carried the burden of a father's dream. At Kuplan, Sun Jian was laid to rest. The soldiers of Wu bowed their heads in silence, honoring the fallen tiger whose spirit would never fade. In Changsha, Sun Shi ruled with humility and fairness. Brave warriors and wise scholars gathered to his side, drawn by his generous spirit and noble heart. The bravest and the wisest came to follow Sun Shi. Though young, he commanded hearts. A new power in the south was rising. In the capital, Dongguo rejoiced. The death of Sun Jian, the mighty tiger, removed a great threat. Fear gripped the court as the tyrant grew bolder.
At last, a thorn in my heart is gone.
When told Sun Jian's eldest was but 17, Dongzhuo laughed. He cast aside his fears, blind to the strength that would one day rise against him. No longer content, Dongzhuo styled himself Imperial Rector, a title heavy with honor. His pride swelled and his ambition grew boundless. 80 miles from the capital, Dongzhuo built Meiwo, a splendid city to mirror Chang'an. He gathered wealth, food, and soldiers, dreaming of power that could last forever. Dongzhuo filled Meiwo with riches, maidens, and endless feasts. Surrounded by luxury, the tyrant's arrogance soared higher, and his cruelty grew without restraint. At a feast, Dongzhuo ordered Zhang Wen executed without mercy. His severed head was shown on a dish. The court shuddered, for no one was safe.
Do not fear. He plotted against me, and now justice is done.
Fear spread through the court. No one dared resist, for the tyrant's cruelty had no bounds. Yet one minister, Wang Yun, kept silent, his heart filled with sorrow and resolve. That night, Minister Wang Yun walked in his garden, gazing at the moon. His heart ached for his country. Tears fell, for he saw no hope against Dongzhuo. Suddenly, Wang Yun heard a sigh from the peony pavilion. It was Diao Chan, a maiden he had raised. Her sorrowful eyes carried the weight of unspoken grief. Moonlight fell upon the courtyard as the maiden knelt, trembling, her robes brushing the stone. Her voice quivered, yet her words showed both fear and devotion, vowing even death if it might ease her lord's sorrow.
Though I am but an unworthy handmaid, the kindness I have received binds my heart in gratitude. If my lord's sorrows demand my life, then in death I shall not falter.
Dismissed attendants left them alone. Diao Chan trembled in fear, while Wang Yun bowed, his heart heavy with sorrow for the Han.
You can sympathize with the people of Han.
With tears flowing, Wang Yun revealed his desperate plan, to use beauty as a chain, setting father and son against one another to save the realm.
You alone can drive a wedge between Dongzhuo and Lu Bu and bring peace to the empire.
Zhou Shan swore her life to the cause, willing to face death itself. Thus began the weaving of a plot that would shake the empire.
If I do not show gratitude, may I perish beneath a myriad swords.
Wang Yun welcomed Lu Bu with treasures, a feast of delights and words of honor. The general, unaccustomed to such courtesy, felt pride and curiosity stir within him.
Why am I treated thus, a mere soldier before an exalted minister?
Not for rank, but for greatness, for there is no hero your equal.
Wang Yun flattered and praised, weaving words of admiration. The wine flowed, and Lu Bu's pride swelled with each toast, his laughter filling the chamber. Then, like a vision, Diao Chan entered. Her grace stilled even the wine's haze, striking Lu Bu with sudden, breathless wonder.
Who is this maiden?
My little girl, Diao Chan. Think not of rank tonight, only friendship.
Under the veil of wine, Wang Yun set his snare. Promising Diao Chan's hand, he bound Lu Bu's heart in chains of love and gratitude.
Would you accept her as your handmaid?
If so, then my gratitude knows no bounds.
Though overjoyed with promise, Lu Bu's heart ached to depart. Every step toward the door felt heavy, bound by the beauty he longed to claim.
The night grows late, General. The Prime Minister might suspect. Best you return for now.
Grateful beyond measure, Lu Bu left with joy, his heart aflame with desire. Yet behind the smiles, Wang Yun's secret plan had begun its dangerous course.
My thanks are endless, Lord Wang Yun. You honor me more than I deserve.
With words wrapped in courtesy, Wang Yun invited the tyrant to dine at his home, laying the first step of a dangerous snare.
Would the great Prime Minister deign to visit my humble cottage?
If you invite me, I will hasten gladly.
Every delicacy from land and sea was laid out, every drapery chosen with care. Splendor disguised the trap that awaited the tyrant. The tyrant came with pomp and might, his guards filling the hall. Yet Wang Yun's courtesy smoothed his pride and set him at ease. Dong Zhuo sat at the seat of honor, his might filling the hall. Yet the host's humility only fed the tyrant's swollen pride. Goblet after goblet, Wang Yun's flattery poured like honey. The wine sank deep, and the tyrant's laughter shook the hall.
Even the sages of Zhuo cannot match the Prime Minister's virtue.
How dare I expect such praise?
When it grew late and the wine had done its work, Dong Zhuo was invited to the inner chamber. So he sent away his guards and went. Wang Yun spoke of heaven's signs in the fall of Han, tempting Dong Zhuo's pride with the thought of destiny.
Those without virtue fall. Those with heaven's favor rise. Can one escape fate?
If heaven decrees it, then you shall be first in merit.
At the perfect moment, Wang Yun offered a new delight, a maiden whose beauty would ensnare the tyrant's heart.
The music of common players is too plain. But there is one little maid who may please you.
Excellent, excellent.
Then came Diao Chan, her form veiled by silk and shadow. Each movement pierced Dong Zhuo's heart like an arrow of desire. When the curtain rose, beauty stepped forth. Dong Zhuo's gaze clung to her, unable to break free.
Who is she?
A singing girl, Diao Chan.
Entranced by her song, Dong Zhuo accepted wine from her hands. When Wang Yun offered Diao Chan as a gift, the tyrant's heart leapt with joy.
If the Prime Minister would not mind, I offer this maid to you.
How could I ever thank you enough?
So the tyrant departed drunk with wine and desire, carrying Diao Chan to his palace. Behind, Wang Yun's bow hit a heart of steel, for the snare had closed. On the road, Wang Yun was stopped by Lu Bu, who had heard whispers of betrayal. The warrior's anger flared, and suspicion burned in his heart.
You promised Diao Chan to me, yet now she is with Dong Zhuo. What foolery is this?
But Wang Yun, master of schemes, knew this was no place for such talk. He urged the warrior to follow him home, where secrets could be spoken. Within Wang Yun's private chamber, anger met cunning. The host's calm mask concealed his trap, while the guest demanded answers.
Why do you find fault with me, General?
Wang Yun's voice trembled with urgency as he tried to ease Lu Bu's anger, explaining how the Prime Minister had cornered him with impossible demands.
General, the Prime Minister said, I heard of a girl named Diao Chan promised to you. I thought it rumor, so I wished to see her. After she bowed, he added, Today is lucky. I shall take her and betroth her to you. Faced with such words, could I refuse?
The storm of anger began to clear. Lu Bu, swayed by honeyed words, laid aside suspicion. The snare tightened, unseen.
Then I misunderstood you. I owe you an apology.
Still uneasy, Lu Bu entered the palace, questioning maids in attendance. Rumors whispered of a new bedfellow for Dong Zhuo, and suspicion once more inflamed his heart. By the lake, Diao Chan saw him. With feigned grief, she wept bitterly, her sorrow cutting into the warrior's heart like a blade. Lu Bu struggled to keep his composure. Behind the curtain, her eyes met his in secret glances, binding his soul tighter with every look. The tyrant's eyes grew sharp. He saw the glances, the restlessness, and suspicion crept into his heart.
If there is nothing, you may go.
So it was that Dong Zhuo forgot the empire. He devoted himself only to Diao Chan, while affairs of state lay in ruin. When Lu Bu came, her silent plea pierced his heart. Her tears, more deadly than swords, stirred a storm within him. But the tyrant awoke. Seeing the betrayal with his own eyes, he raged like a storm, striking terror into all who heard him.
Dare you make love to my beauty? Out with him.
Thus was Lu Bu cast out from the tyrant's palace, humiliated and broken. Yet within his heart, fire burned hotter than ever before. Consumed with rage, Lu Bu told Li Ru of his humiliation. The cunning advisor, however, knew that rash anger could doom both master and servant. After hearing of Lu Bu's anger, Li Ru went to Dong Zhuo's side and spoke wisely. If Lu Bu turns against you, all is lost. The danger was clear. Without the warrior's loyalty, Dong Zhuo's power would crumble.
Sir, you aspire to rule the empire. Why risk all for anger?
The tyrant hesitated. Was his wrath worth losing the might of his fiercest general? Even Dong Zhuo knew he must bend, at least for a time.
Then what can I do?
The advisor urged him to recall Lu Bu, overwhelm him with gifts, and mend the broken bond with golden promises. So the tyrant humbled himself, blaming illness for his rage. He gifted his general gold and silk, mending the quarrel in appearance, though not in truth.
I was irritable and hasty. Forgive me, my son.
Though his body served Dong Zhuo, Lu Bu's heart belonged to Diao Chan. No gold or silk could quench the fire of love. One day, while Dong Zhuo spoke at court, Lu Bu stole away to the Phoenix Pavilion, seeking the one who haunted his dreams. She came as a fairy from the moon, her steps gentle as falling blossoms. Yet her tears spoke of sorrow too deep to hide. She told of her shame, her suffering, and her stolen honor. Her words pierced the warrior's heart more deeply than any blade.
If I cannot be your wife in this life, I will in the ages to come.
On the brink of tragedy, Lu Bu caught her in his arms. Their tears flowed together, sealing a bond of unshakable devotion.
If I do not marry you in this life, I am no hero.
She begged him to save her from the tyrant's grasp, her every word drawing him deeper into her net of sorrow.
Every day is a year long. Pity me, rescue me, my lord.
The warrior hesitated, torn between fear of Dong Zhuo and love for Diao Chan. In his silence, shame crept into his heart. Overcome, he embraced her once more. Their love, though forbidden, burned brighter than ever beneath the shadow of the tyrant. But the tyrant's heart was never free of doubt. Missing his general, he returned in haste and found the first trace of betrayal. At last, the snare was sprung. The tyrant's howl shattered the moment of love, and the shadow of bloodshed fell upon them all. Though Dong Zhuo hurled the mighty halberd with all his strength, Lu Bu fended it aside. One was heavy with rage, the other swift with freedom.
You cannot escape me, traitor.
Just as Dong Zhuo thought to seize Lu Bu, fate tripped him instead. At the gate, he collided headlong with another, and the mighty tyrant fell.